Watch this. 3 forehand short ball techniques that turn passive serve-receive into instant pressure your opponent never sees coming. Hi everyone, I'm Xiao Han, and today we're covering 3 forehand short ball techniques for serve-receive that will keep your opponent from attacking you. If your forehand push is too passive, too predictable, you're going to get punished. So what do I use? First, a push down the line. Second, a side spin cut into the short corner. I use that one constantly now. These two options alone prevent you from being stuck on the defensive. And the third technique is the short touch into the middle or the short corner. Let's start with the short touch. The short touch is the hardest of the three, so we'll break it down first. The ball you're dealing with is a short backspin or side spin backspin serve to your forehand side. If it's topspin, you just flick it. We're not talking about that here. You can combine the short touch with a long push to the backhand baseline and the side spin cut to the short corner. Use all three flexibly. If you only have one weapon, your opponent adapts and you're done. The action is very small, just this much. Watch, with a compact motion, the ball stays short. Even slightly bigger and it goes long, right off the table. Essentially, you're using just your hand frame to place the ball. There's almost no forearm swing, no upper arm movement. The real key is your center of gravity. You must shift your weight forward into the table. If your weight isn't committed forward, you simply cannot keep the ball short. Let me exaggerate to show you. My weight shifts so far forward that my back foot practically lifts off the ground. That's the feeling, center of gravity fully committed over the table, pressing downward to absorb force. If you lean back or sit on your heels, the ball pops up half high every time. Commit forward and let the hand go. In practice, the movement is small, but the principle is the same. You use your body's center of gravity to press downward and absorb force. Keep the hand action compact. Now, the short touch requires certain conditions. First, the incoming serve must carry backspin or side spin backspin. Second, it must be a short ball. You simply cannot short touch a long ball. A long ball you'd rip or drive. Trying to short touch it just doesn't work reliably. Third, and this is critical, your touch must be soft. Your hand has to stay relaxed and pliable. The moment you stiffen up, the ball shoots out. You cannot use force here. Watch, if I go in even slightly rigid, the ball flies long. Even a push with too much stiffness sends it right off the end of the table. Grip the racket, shift your weight forward and downward to absorb force, and meet the ball at its rising phase. The touch must be soft, the opposite of an accelerating stroke. Think of it like a defensive block, where you cushion the impact. Now there's one more critical element, the direction of your force. I'll show you 3 options. First, pushing forward, that tends to pop the ball up. Second, pushing downward. Third, pushing to the side. When I push downward, the ball dips into the net too easily. When I push forward, it floats long or sits up half high. But when I direct the force to the side, toward my right front, the ball stays low and comes back short. Watch this touch, see how it curls right back. Whenever you find yourself pushing the ball long too often, seriously consider redirecting your force sideways. It's incredibly stable. It's about reducing errors. With sideways force, you can use more energy without the ball flying off the end. The short touch demands precise feel, push forward with bad control, and it's long. Even the long push goes long if your force direction is off. But angle your force to the side, left or right, and suddenly you can push with maybe double the effort you used before while still keeping the ball on the table. You add quality without adding risk. So when I short touch, I angle slightly to my right front and apply a little extra force. Watch! That's how I do it, and the ball comes back with real spin. Practice this short touch regularly, because when your opponent serves short, a quality short touch sets up your next ball beautifully. After your short touch, your opponent pushes back, and that return is slower and easier to attack than exchanging long pushes back and forth. You get a much more comfortable ball to loop. One thing to note, switching from long pushes to a sudden short touch mid-rally is extremely difficult. It can be done, but the hand feel required is very high. Dropping a short touch into a long push rally is risky. In a match, your nerves make it even harder. Honestly, pushing long might be the safer play in that situation. But if you can keep your short touch low enough, it does give you a way to disrupt your opponent's rhythm, pull them in, and then attack the next ball hard. Now the second technique, the forehand push down the line. When you push, angle your racket face so it aims straight down the line. You must commit to that line. Don't let the racket face drift cross-court. Angle your racket face clearly to the right. Now, during the push, a lot of players think a side spin push is extremely difficult. It really isn't. If you can learn a hook serve, you can absolutely learn this. The key is understanding the racket's path. You either push straight forward and down, or you pull the racket to the left, toward your left front side. That leftward pull is what creates the side spin. Watch! This is the side spin push. Give it a try. Especially with short balls, these techniques might look unimpressive, but in a match, when you push one with sharp side spin at a critical moment and your opponent can't loop it, that's the point that wins you the game. You don't win every rally with loops. You need multiple weapons. The more tools you have, the fewer options your opponent has. So during the push, open the racket face, then apply force to the side, toward the side front direction. With short balls, you must use a soft, kneading touch. If you go in too hard, you'll just bump the ball and pop it up. For short balls, I generally use about 50 to 60% power. You definitely cannot muscle this one. Now the third technique, the side cut. This is a forehand short ball skill that works incredibly well for amateur players. And in doubles, it's even more effective, because cutting into that short diagonal triangle is devastating. After you step in, angle your racket face toward the left, aiming at the short corner. Notice that a push can go forward, left, or right. The side cut specifically channels force to the right front. So set your racket face on the cross-court line first, then drive your force out to the right and slightly forward. Watch the direction of the stroke. So now you have 3 forehand receive options: the straight line push, the soft short touch, and the side cut into the triangle.